If the Linzess helps me eat just 100 or 200 more calories a day, that will make it worth it. I need to fight harder than ever. I never thought things were gonna get to this point. This is the year of Western medicine, guys, right here. Hey y'all, it's Linnea. Today is Wednesday, February 8th. I want to give you an update on how I've been doing since getting back on Linzess. I'm currently taking the lowest possible dose of 72 micrograms each morning. This is the lowest dose of Linzess that I have ever been on. And even at this low dose, I am being reminded of why I stopped taking it the last time that I was on it in 2022. The Linzess is having a strong effect on me at this low dose. There is just not much in my diet to slow down the medicine from taking its full effect quite quickly. The first time that I took Linzess in May of 2022, starting with 145 micrograms, I was concerned that it would hit me right away. I had heard from other people with Linzess experience that I might want to be near a bathroom the first day that I took it. It's a bit hard to judge about how my first day on Linzess went in 2022 because I started Linzess the same day that I was in the middle of a full colon clear out with colonoscopy prep because my gastroenterologist did not think the Linzess would be enough. But after that whole colon clear out was over, I found that I didn't notice any effect from the 140 micrograms of Linzess until about a week after I had started taking it. And when I started on the 72 micrograms, I assumed that I wouldn't really notice I was taking it until around like now or a few days from now. And that is not what happened. The 72 micrograms of Linzess have been hitting me hard since the first dose. I took my first dose of the 72 micrograms of Linzess on Sunday morning, February 5th, with a few sips of water. And within a few minutes of taking it, I ran to the bathroom. My stomach was gurgling the rest of the morning, and there was a lot of urgency going on. I was very glad that I did not have plans that day. I was very glad that I was just gonna stay at home and near a bathroom the entire day. On Monday, I went to work as normal. And thankfully, it did not hit me quite as quickly on my second day of taking it. My bowels moved once later on in the morning, and it was a pretty calm experience. I was like, this is working out great. Only pooped once. It was it was still liquidy, but it was a fine poop. It gave me a false sense of security in my body and how it was gonna respond to the Linzess in a good way. So by Tuesday, the day of my third dose, things went awry. I was having intestinal pain the entire freaking day, a churning stomach, urgency, and lots of watery stools the entire day. I just tried to breathe through the intense abdominal pain that, thanks to the Linzess, was not limited to my upper abdomen. It was just all day, feeling all that. Thankfully, my office is also near the bathroom with this new job. On the positive side, though, well, yeah, I don't know. So Tuesday was really bad. And then today, I have been feeling very weak and faint the entire day because of all of what happened yesterday. I think I went to the bathroom 6 times and I was just really struggling yesterday. Today I took Linzess and I've had intestinal pain and gurgling and bloating from it the entire day, but nothing has actually happened bathroom-wise. So I feel like my intestines are just gearing up to torture me tomorrow, but we'll still see. At this point though, anything that could potentially keep my weight from dropping lower than it currently is our main focus. There's just no other option right now with how my motility is. Things are moving through me and I have hope that that will help me eat more. With intestinal motility issues, sometimes you have to just accept that you will not get to have normal poops for a long period of time. And at the very least, this is at least helping me go to the bathroom potentially daily eventually. We'll see if it ever gets regular. I'll let you know. Even though I'm suffering a little bit, I'm being positive about it. And I just hope that my body adjusts to it soon because I don't want to feel like I'm getting a cleanse every other day. Because I have a sense that every other day or I'm just gonna have another day like Tuesday. I just have a sense. But what ultimately makes Linzess the best choice is the fact that my doctor believes that it helps me more than any other like over-the-counter or natural motility treatment. And from the test and from what the tests have shown thus far, she is 100% right. The reason she put me on Linzess in May of 2022 at the 145 micrograms dose was because my abdominal x-ray showed a significant stool burden after over 3 weeks of me drinking a solution consisting of 3 to 5 capfuls of Miralax each and every night. Remember that? That was an interesting time in my life. But still, like the fact that I could be taking 5 capfuls of Miralax a day for nearly a month and still be carrying around a stool burden was what prompted my doctor to agree that A, intestinal dysfunction and dysmotility is a significant factor in my GI illness situation, and also that like Miralax isn't the best in terms of like actually getting the poop out of me. And when we did a follow-up test at the end of June, we did an abdominal x-ray post, like while I was on Linzess, and that abdominal x-ray showed the stool burden had been cleared. So the 2 abdominal x-rays showed that when I'm on Linzess, it gets rid of my stool burdens. When I'm on Miralax, maybe not so much. And keeping my intestines as clear as possible is going to be very, very key in managing my symptoms, since my stomach function appears to be less and less reliable lately. As in, there is less room to allow myself to be constipated, because that could put me days behind in being able to eat even a little bit more food each day. My priority right now is to follow the advice of my medical team as closely as I possibly can. I am not a freaking doctor. I do not know better than my doctor. And I'm tired of putting all this pressure on myself to find natural remedies or to cure myself by improving my gut health. What the crap does gut health even freaking mean? I'm so over it. I'm so over it. I just want to follow what my doctor freaking says. I am not a doctor. Like, I enjoyed doing all the research that I did in 2022 to learn about motility disorders and SIBO and how various foods and herbs and supplements can affect motility. I am glad to have that knowledge, and that knowledge did help me function without heavy medications like Linzess for quite a while. But now that my conditions, whatever they are, have progressed, it is time for me to slow down. And instead of just throwing everything at the wall, like I did in 2022, I'm gonna take my interventions one step at a time and make sure to follow every single freaking thing my doctor says as closely as I can. The bottom line is that if I'm seeking medical care through the Western medicine system, the only way for my doctor to help me is for me to believe what she says and to follow her advice in terms of the interventions that we need to try when we need to try them. Right now, my doctor wants me on desipramide for my abdominal pain. I'm probably not saying it right, but whatever. So I am taking that every single night at 10 milligrams per night until I see her again. My doctor also wants me to have a daily motility protocol in place. And given that my doctor trusts from the tests that have proven it, that Linzess will actually move the stool through my intestines rather than just washing over the solids with liquid, as was proven through the x-ray in June last year, Linzess is the best motility intervention for me to use at this time. Carrying a stool burden does make my upper GI symptoms worse, even though I know that relieving the stool burden will not necessarily make my upper GI symptoms better. And it's not going to cure me. But keeping my colon motility in a good place is just a very critical part of my symptom management right now, and it probably, like, always will be. So I'm just going to have to accept that on this Linzess, at any point in time, I could need to run to the bathroom like 10 times a day. And that's just the price that I'm going to have to pay right now to be seen by my medical team and by myself as following medical advice and is taking my condition seriously. I have to take my medical plan seriously if I want my medical team to take my symptom progression seriously. Like, it works both ways. We have to both be freaking serious about this freaking thing, because it's freaking serious. I need my doctor to know that I'm taking every intervention possible so that she can keep looking deeper and know what she can rule out. I know I need my doctor's help, and I want everyone to see that I'm taking proper care to follow medical advice. I'm even going above and beyond. Getting back on Linzess was my idea. Now, in regard to when I stopped taking Linzess at the end of July 2022, my doctor was not upset. Like, she did not scold me. She just told me to continue to monitor my motility and that I would need to be open to taking Linzess again were things to get worse, as they clearly have in the past few months. So I'm back on Linzess. Last year, there was more room for me to try out different medications and natural remedies for the majority of the year because I wasn't losing weight. So there wasn't as much urgency and pressure. to choose the perfect thing or to do the perfect thing. In 2022, when I wasn't losing weight, I could just throw stuff at the wall and there weren't going to be any like huge consequences besides me just feeling worse. And even though getting off Linzess was probably not the perfect choice from like a medical perspective back at the end of July, I honestly do not at all regret that I stopped taking it back in 2022. The reason I chose to stop taking Linzess at the end of July, after I had been taking it daily for about 2 months, had to do with the way both my doctor and I approached what Linzess was supposed to do for me, and also where my condition was at the time. So my doctor and I were both thinking in the summer of 2022 that my intestinal dysmotility was my main issue because my gastric emptying scan had come back normal. So we were thinking that intestinal dysmotility was the main thing that was driving my bloating, my nausea, my vomiting, my inability to tolerate large volumes of food, etc. So my doctor and I both thought the Linzess would make me feel a lot better once I was on it for even a couple of weeks. That would make me feel way better. And we have like some blind hope that Linzess might even help me feel normal again, whatever that freaking means. Sadly, that never happened. The Linzess did not improve any of my upper GI symptoms when I was on it in May and June, and my excessive nausea and other issues persisted and even seemed to worsen. There are videos about it in the description, link below. I probably put way too much hope into Linzess making everything better, and when that didn't happen, I got very upset and disappointed, and I was so confused about why treating what we had determined through the x-rays to be my main problem, like I wasn't feeling better from it. So, and my doctor was honestly confused as well. We were both very determined to help me feel better as quickly as possible. So after only 3 weeks of me taking 145 micrograms of Linzess a day, again, double the dose that I'm on now, my doctor doubled this dose to the maximum dose of Linzess, which is 290 micrograms a day. Taking the maximum dosage of 290 micrograms was what pushed me over the edge into thinking that Linzess was not for me. That dosage was way too much too soon. It made my bowel movements very unpredictable. It greatly increased my lower abdominal pain. I was having very watery, explosive stools. Like one day I would have those. Then like the next day I'd have like hard, like rabbit pellet stools. It was like going from one extreme to the other, but more of the diarrhea stuff on this. But like it was still unpredictable. But I stayed on it for 5 weeks because I felt like I would do anything in order to feel better, even dealing with these medication-induced bowel issues. My upper GI issues did improve a small amount on the higher dose of Linzess, but when I stopped taking the higher dose of Linzess at the end of July, before our summer vacation to Orlando or Miami, my upper GI issues remained slightly improved, so it could have just been that I was coming out of a flare with my suspected gastroparesis around the time that we were on this higher dosage. So there's no way to know for sure if it was this or just me coming out of a flare. We don't know. But the full breaking point as to why I stopped taking this in July was not only our impending vacation or the fact that I was in a ton of lower abdominal pain, but the longer I was on it, the looser my bowel movements got and the more urgency triggers I developed. And the urgency triggers were the final straw. It got to the point where I couldn't eat or drink anything that could potentially improve my motility, or I would have a lot of uncomfortable bathroom situations. It got to the point where I couldn't even drink a few like sips, like small sips of coffee without nearly pooping myself. It was just cups of coffee. I'd be like, oh my gosh, I'm about to die. There were quite a few close calls, and I'm just lucky that my desk at work was right next to the bathroom at the time that I was maxed out on this stuff. Another one that absolutely wrecked me was I tried to eat some chia pudding. Granted, I cannot tolerate chia pudding now anyway due to its high fiber content, but I tried to eat it while on this and I was a wreck. I hate being out of control of my body. That's really what it comes down to with being willing to deal with side effects of these kind of meds, is I hate being out of control of my body. And ever since the end of 2021, when my symptoms with these GI issues ramped up, I have felt out of control of my body on some level every single day. And when it got to the point to where this max dose of Linzess was making me feel so out of control of my body that I was afraid to consume certain foods or drinks without like running to the bathroom or like pooping myself or something like that. Like it wasn't worth it it made me feel more out of control of my body. And I still had all my upper GI issues. And so it was actually making things worse physically and mentally in July when I was on this. And yes, I could have talked to my doctor about going back on the lower dose. But at that point, I just wanted to be done with Linzess. And I wanted to feel in control of my body again in any way that I could. And I'd also done all this research into herbal interventions and all the different kinds of teas and juices and all kinds of natural stuff that I could do for my motility. And I wanted to experiment with that. And I could not experiment with any of those options when anything remotely motility promoting on top of the Linzess would cause my body to totally over respond to it. And I'd be having this terrible bathroom situation, watery stools for days, whatever you may want to know about it. So, my doctor in July was open to me getting off Linzess and managing my motility aside from Linzess at that time, because even though I was struggling with symptoms, my health was not in any kind of rapid decline. In the late summer of 2022, I had a fair amount of hope and was trying very hard to think positively about how I could improve my symptoms. And if the natural interventions didn't work, it wasn't a big deal. I just felt a little worse one day, but nothing terrible was going to happen. And what I'm trying to say here is I was not sick enough in July to justify being out of control of my bowels. It didn't feel worth it. But now it's kind of worth it because I'm already so sick, it doesn't matter. You know what I mean? At this point, I can justify it, and taking this, no matter what this causes me, what side effects it causes me, going to the bathroom 6 times a day, being in more pain, sure, it is worth it, and I would argue that it is completely necessary. I have to do this. Anything that can get slightly more space in my digestive system is worth it, given the stage that I am and how sick I am now. If the Linzess helps me eat just 100 or 200 more calories a day, that will make it worth it. That is the margins we're dealing with here for success. I am struggling so much with eating lately due to nausea, pain, vomiting. Any little increase in calories will help keep my weight from dropping at the rapid pace that it is currently dropping. I've been losing half a pound to a pound of weight a week for quite a few months now. It is freaking terrifying. Any little thing that I can do to fight that is worth it. I know nothing will cure me. I know nothing will bring me back to how I felt before I got sick, but anything that I can do to slow my weight loss and to fight this thing longer is a step in the right direction. I need to fight harder than ever, and the loss of control that I'm giving to this Linzess will make me lose more control because I will get sicker faster. I will have stool burdens. If I don't do something drastic like this, things are going to decline even more. And they still might decline more. I don't freaking know, but this is me fighting against it. And I'm really glad that my medical team is taking my condition very seriously. I am taking my condition very seriously. I actually have another appointment with one of my doctor's PAs in less than a month. In less than a week, I have my SIBO test. I have a lot of confidence in my medical team right now because I truly feel that everyone involved is doing all they can to fight this, and I need to take this and poop my brains out as a way of doing all that I can to fight this. And I also would like to get another abdominal x-ray after my SIBO test in about a week so we can see if the Linzess is actually keeping me stool burden free. We need to test that and figure that out. But I do feel like I can't really say that the Linzess is helping my upper GI at all because today has been miserable. I have taken Zofran. I've almost thrown up so many times today. I did throw up already before I filmed this, but it's something that I can do. I have to do this. There's not a choice anymore. I can't say that I feel uncomfortable on this. I'm so uncomfortable just drinking some water. This, being comfortable from this is a drop in the bucket compared to how sick I already feel every day all the time. This is the year, guys. This is the year that we finally get down to the bottom of what is going on with my digestive system. I'm gonna fight even harder for answers. I know my medical team is fighting for answers right along with me, and we're gonna figure this out. We have no other choice. Every week, I watch myself lose another pound, and every week I suffer through the nausea and all this stuff, and I'm just fighting. I am literally just fighting right now. And I never thought I'd be okay with having totally unpredictable bowels, diarrhea any time of day, the risk of pooping my pants, whatever you may be, but it's worth it. I also never thought that I would be able to be on a liquid diet or mostly liquid diet for as long as I have, but I'm doing it. I thought last year was the fight. I thought last year was gonna be as bad as it got, and I was wrong. This is the fight. This is where we had to freaking fight. I never thought things were gonna get to this point. I never thought that I'd be sitting here clinically underweight, which I currently am given my current weight, but here we are. This is where we are. And for some reason, the powers that be in the universe, God, whatever you believe in, wants me to go through this. But this is the year putting our faith in Western medicine. Like, I'm done with natural remedies. I might eat a peppermint every once in a while. I might still like tea. This is the year of Western medicine, guys, right here. Doctors go to med school for many, many years. Their whole freaking process takes about a decade. I trust them. And I will talk to you guys in the next video, which is actually gonna probably be, our next medical video is going to be the SIBO stuff. So let's find out if I have SIBO.